We start with police on the hunt for a man they say is responsible for a stabbing in Duke City this weekend. Officers are looking for this guy, Salvador Martinez. They believe that he was involved in a stabbing that happened on 12th Street just north of Mountain about 2 o'clock Saturday morning. Police say that Freddie Ramirez was stabbed a number of times, then rushed to UNMH where he's in critical condition right now. We did check some court records and found out Martinez has been in trouble in the past and has a hearing coming up for an arrest on drug charges. And happening now at 5:32, attorneys in the case against John McCloskey are getting ready to make their closing arguments this morning. It's a murder trial happening here in Albuquerque. It's making headlines all over the country. News 13's Samantha McDonald is outside of the federal courthouse downtown with a preview. Good morning once again, Samantha.
Good morning, Matt. So this has been an intense month of testimony in this case. John McCloskey faces the death penalty. He is accused of killing 2 tourists 3 years ago. This all happened back in Arizona when he escaped from prison in 2010. Federal investigators say he came here to New Mexico, carjacked Gary and Linda Haas, 2 tourists from Oklahoma, when they were at a rest stop in Santa Rosa. They also say McCloskey killed the 2, then set their RV on fire with the 2 inside. During the trial, McCloskey's so-called accomplices testified against him. Tracy Province broke out of prison with McCloskey, and the 2 went on the run with McCloskey's cousin and fiance, Kathleen Welch. They said they didn't want to kill the Haases, but McCloskey did because he didn't want any evidence left behind. They also say they heard McCloskey shoot and kill the 2, but didn't know he was going to do that. McCloskey's defense attorneys attacked Welch's and Province's credibility, reminding jurors they took plea deals to avoid the death penalty. McCloskey's defense rested the case last week. Again, closing arguments are set for today. The case then could go to the jury, and McCloskey does face the death penalty. Matt, back to you.
It is, again, he would face it if he is convicted. Thank you for the update, Samantha. We'll be in court today. We'll have updates for you here on News 13 and anytime at KRQE.com. Albuquerque police say they talked with, arrested, or gave tickets to hundreds of people at State Fair this year. You know, it went on for 12 days, had more than 400,000 visitors in all. Police say they arrested 20 people. Those are on either misdemeanor or felony charges. 139 people got tickets, and almost 300 were contacted by police about what maybe were crimes. While the numbers might seem high to you, State Fair reps say it shows exactly what they want, a continued crackdown on crime at the fair.
Says that the fair is extremely safe and that law enforcement agencies, all of the different ones that we work with, are doing their jobs.
That is good. Outside the fairgrounds this year, cops also arrested 2 people for breaking into cars and 1 person for stealing. Doesn't look like there are any major problems there. All right, 5:34, the federal government's now coughing up some serious cash to find out whoever left pipe bombs in 2 towns in New Mexico. 6 pipe bombs were found in Roswell and Clovis earlier this year. Investigators say some were packed with smokeless powder propellant and screws that would have acted as projectiles, kind of like shrapnel, had they gone off. Thank goodness none of them did. Federal investigators now offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to a conviction in the case. Well, a woman accused of stealing from a program that helps kids has now been arraigned on embezzlement charges. According to El Defensor chieftain Tiffany Acevedo, was arraigned on 79 charges of stealing checks from New Mexico to include embezzlement. The chieftain says that the embezzlement charges come from 51 checks issued to the Tech Science Olympiad that Acevedo had been entrusted with. She's accused of using them for her own gain, not for kids. According to the Olympiad's website, it's a national nonprofit group that runs programs to help kids learn about science. Acevedo pled not guilty to all the counts. A pretrial conference is set for November. Well, if P&M shows up on your caller ID, you may not want to believe your own eyes because it could be imposters. And plenty of people, it looks like, are falling for their scheme and paying for it. And what's especially concerning is that the scam artists here have been able to figure a way to mimic P&M's caller ID. Now, U.S. Senator Tom Udall from here in New Mexico is asking the federal government to help put an end to this. He's sending a letter to the chair of the Federal Trade Commission asking her to look into the scams. P&M says all types of electric customers all over the state are being preyed on by the scammers, with them telling them their bills are past due, and if they don't pay now, they'll be left in the dark.
What happens is the caller will tell them to go buy a Visa gift card, for example, maybe at a Walmart or another store, then call back and give the numbers on the card.
P&M says it would never ask for a payment strictly through a gift card, and that it can't shut off someone's power over the phone. That has to be done in person. The utility says if you have concerns about whether the person you are talking with is really from P&M, simply hang up and call the company back, and you'll find out if it's legit or not. Well, in less than a month, the state Supreme Court will decide if gay marriage is legal here in New Mexico. But before that happens, the number of licenses issued to same-sex couples all across the state is really getting up there. A lot of these folks are coming from out of state now. According to the ACLU, more than 1,000 same-sex couples have now gotten marriage licenses across New Mexico. Bernalillo County Clerk Maggie Toulouse-Oliver says her office has issued 33 marriage licenses to couples who are from out of state, mostly from Colorado, Texas, and Arizona. Ms. Toulouse-Oliver says she didn't expect to see so many couples from other states.
It is a pleasant surprise, and of course, knowing that these folks are coming from neighboring states such as Texas, Arizona, it's a pleasant surprise, and I think it's probably providing a little bit of an economic boon for our little community.
The question here is, will these marriage certificates hold up in these couples' home states? As of today, Texas and Arizona do not allow same-sex marriage. Colorado allows same-sex civil unions. It's up to each state to decide if it recognizes same-sex marriages. Coming out of New Mexico, state Supreme Court is expected to have oral arguments regarding the legality of gay marriage here on October 23rd. We're told the justices could make a ruling that same day.